Today, myself and Nick are headed down to Manchester Metropolitan University to speak to some computer science students about how they can get the most out of Wakelet and also give them an insight into what it's like engineering at a technology startup.
3 weeks since you were looking for your friend, the one you let hit it and never called you again. Remember when he told you he was about to Benjamins? You act like you ain't him, they give him a little trim to begin. How you think you really gonna pretend like you wasn't down and you called him again?
We make sure that as much as possible the system is immutable. So the back end is essentially an immutable commit log of events. So when you do something new, let's say I change my name, we add a new event saying that you've changed your name and keep all the old events there, rather than overwriting the name. And this is great for auditing purposes because you basically have a history that you can step back through. And it also really helps scalability because this is sort of the approach that LinkedIn pioneered.
So Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you find out about Wakelet and how did you end up joining the team?
I've been a developer for 15, 20 years now. When I came across Wakelet, I had been freelancing, so working around a lot of different projects, a lot of different companies, getting my hands on all sorts of different types of tech and just enjoying what I was doing. And a friend of mine contacted me and said, I know some people that are looking for a DevOps engineer, and we all just seemed to really hit it off really well. And I was a contractor for quite a while, and sort of after a bit I just felt really comfortable and was like, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not going to be leaving here for quite a long time, so sign me up. And that's the point where I became a permanent employee, and I haven't looked back since.
So when we talk about DevOps, a lot of people aren't quite sure what that entails. So what is it that you actually do day to day?
DevOps is just an abbreviation of developer operations, and it's a kind of bridge role. It ties together what the developers are creating and different parts of the business. So in most cases it's sort of infrastructure. And that's what I was brought in to do. So I spent the majority of my time when I first started working on the infrastructure and finding ways to improve it, either make it faster or more cost effective, and to try and make it so that the code that the developers were writing was something that would get into production as quickly as possible.
So it's almost like there's a lot of things happening on the development side, a lot of operations, and what you do is find a way to almost like thread those things together and find a way to make everybody work in tandem.
That's essentially it, yeah. So I'll coordinate all the different parts of the business from the front end team and the back end team, and I'll get them all singing the same hymn.
Right, got it.
And ultimately, if it all goes right, we end up with the best website possible live and running at all times.
So from what I've heard, you're a bit of a renaissance man. It's not just the DevOps side of things that you do, you've also got your hand in a lot of the other engineering operations in the company.
The first task I got from the back end team as a development project was to help re-engineer our authentication system and try and improve the way it was to make it much more robust and much more secure. Not saying that it wasn't in the first place, but you can always improve these things. So we're always striving to try and make it better. And that was my first task. And so I got that up and running and out of the door quite quickly with help from Nick and Shep, helping to steer the direction in developing our data model to try and get that improved, and really spending a lot of time with the whole team, just really working out the best way to take things forward.
Nick and I visited MMU recently, and one of the things that we spoke about was the key differences between working in a big corporate structure, a big company, and how that differs to working in a startup environment. What are your experiences with that on the engineering side?
I've done some work for big corporates, and it's great because you do get exposure to a lot of things, but you'll find that you don't necessarily pick up as much. In startups, you can be very agile, you can move very quickly, you can try new tech very quickly. It means you can get something out that does what you need it to do, you can then improve on that And if it doesn't work, you can bring in something better. And you learn at every iteration, and you go from strength to strength in doing that. Whereas sometimes in a big corporate, you'll get told you've got to go down a path, and then you're stuck on that path, and you can't then go, well, actually, there's a better way.
Completely, yeah.
Which is what makes Wakelet really good, in that we do have that mentality. We do kind of go, okay, let's try something. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, we learn from it, and we adapt, and we evolve. And every single time we do that, we just get better.
Thanks for watching the vlog. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.